Hey y'all, welcome to the family that reads a lot. We survived our first half of our homeschool year. We don't really break our homeschool year up in halves with Christmas like a lot of school districts and stuff do. We do more of our schooling in the fall and less in the spring. So we hit our halfway mark at Thanksgiving. That was our 15-week mark. We do 30 weeks, give or take. Sometimes our stuff runs a little into summer and all the things, but that's what we do. So, just a note, if y'all are looking for homeschool content, especially after Christmas, thinking about homeschooling, thinking about curriculum for next year, any of that, be sure to subscribe and like this video so that the algorithm picks me up for you, because as we get into January, I'm going to get into more curriculum stuff and informational stuff, just how we do homeschool, anything that I can to help others who may be thinking about doing it but haven't taken the plunge, that kind of thing. So I wanted to give y'all a quick recap on how our semester has been. One other note, real fast. I am doing Vlogmas this year, but I am doing it in the form of shorts. So if you jump over to my shorts page and watch a couple of those, same thing, the algorithm will drop you in, and I'm doing just a fun short every day, like 1 minute, fun music, whatever we get into that day, that kind of stuff. Real quick and easy, but just some fun stuff. Okay, now homeschool. So we made it through the first semester. We hit it really, really hard in August and the beginning of September, and then we kind of started to lose steam. If some of y'all watched past videos, you saw that we just kind of got burnt out a little bit. We got into some busier time for us. So the month of October, we had our Big Bend trip that we were gone for an entire week. We had birthdays and things like that, and just kind of lost steam. But we still finished in a what I would call a good fashion. Right before Thanksgiving, though, the flu went through our house, this lovely variant of flu that's taken everybody down. So that slowed us down a lot. Like, we tried to do a little school here and there, and the kids were not having it. They felt horrible. So that took pretty much a week off of our year. So the end, I wouldn't say we ended on like a hurrah. We more so ended in like a we ended, right? And that's okay. We are in December now. For December, we do half days. So I'm going to have another video on how we work our December stuff coming out either before or after this. I don't know yet. And just talking about how we schedule that. Now, how did we do? I want to do a little curriculum review, tell you how things worked, if they did, if they didn't, because by the time I get to the end of the year, I've honestly forgot this first half of the year and kind of forgotten, did we struggle with this? Was it hard to get into, but we just pushed through? Different things like that. So I'm going to jump into it first for, let's go for my daughter. So she's technically fourth grade, does fourth grade, fifth grade, anything in there, some third grade stuff, like whatever, but technically fourth grade. For her geography stuff, she's still using this National Geographic Kids Atlas for the United States. She's learning a little bit about each state. We love this thing, y'all. My son used it. It's very quick, very easy, but gives them the basic breakdown. It shows them the flag. It shows them the economics. It shows them some cool things. It's not in depth by any means, but it's a fun look at each state. So she has been loving this. It's thorough enough for fourth grade. She's enjoying it. Science. I told y'all that we switched her science, and it has been a blessing overall, life-giving, all the things for her to do science in more of a Charlotte Mason way. She has a science class that she goes to once a month that talks about different topics. This year is a lot of like physical science, so forces and water and different things like this, which water wouldn't be physical science, but you know what I mean. But for her personal reading for science, she did a lot of, like, I wouldn't call them picture books, more like informational picture books. I don't really know what you call those when they're science related. Like, they've got a lot of information in them, but they're the nice, big, colorful books. She did a lot of those at the beginning of the year. Then she found one of Julia Rothman's books that she had wanted to study. It was farm anatomy, because she wanted to do a farm like unit. We're kind of breaking her stuff up into about 3 weeks and having her read over something for about 3 weeks. She really, really enjoyed that book, learned some random facts. enjoyed it, was more interested in it, watched videos on farm animals and stuff like that. It was good. She enjoyed it. Now she's doing nature anatomy, same thing. She's loving this book, like just random things about mushrooms and flowers and constellations and deserts and layers of the earth. Like, it's by no means an in-depth dive, but it's kind of a look at a little bit of everything. Butterfly metamorphosis, stuff like this. She's thoroughly enjoying these books. So we are going with it. After this one, she wants to do marine biology, marine anatomy, I guess. And hey, that's great. That's fine. Those are working perfectly. So if you haven't seen those, check them out. They're a lot of fun. She's doing handwriting from The Good and the Beautiful, level 4, which is really the big introduction to cursive. They touch on it in level 3, but in level 4, they're actually writing in cursive. Um, and she's really enjoying it. Like, she's getting the hang of it, and she's wanting to write different stuff in cursive, like her name and different things on papers every now and then. Like, I would in no way expect her to write a paragraph in cursive, but she's enjoying it. Another simple one, word study and phonics spectrum. Both my kids have done these up to about 4th grade. I think this is the last book that we did for my son. After this, we used Wordly Wise for a little bit, kind of in the in between. And now he doesn't do anything like that. But this is level 4. We just do this when we have time. When we have longer days that we're not going and doing and all of that stuff, we throw a few pages of this in here. It's different, like crosswords and um, just fill in the blank kind of stuff. Super easy, but it keeps those phonics uh, concepts fresh, like silent E's and stuff like this that they need. As far as her math, somehow this book got wet on one of our travels. I don't know, but it's still working, so that's fine. But so this is Math 5 from The Good and the Beautiful. She really enjoys this. It has videos that go along with it that we're very thankful for. They're under 10 minutes, super short and sweet. And then she has her lesson. Now, what I have noticed is since we passed the halfway mark in this book, it's gotten heavier on the subject matter. So in the beginning, there was a lot of review. Then it was like lines and graphs and comparing numbers and all this kind of stuff. Now that we've passed the halfway mark, we are into um, fractions and decimals and converting fractions and least common multiples and greatest common factors and all of the heavy things. So far, she's taken it like a champ, not an issue. If it gets too heavy, since this is a 5th grade book and she's technically 4th grade, we will slow down. We will do a lesson twice or go back or do what we need to. That's the benefit of having them work up a little bit in those early grades. This was the point with my son where we had to slow down a little bit. There was one year we didn't do The Good and the Beautiful. He did a different program. I think it was Hope Mifflin or something. But there was a year that we wound up repeating because he got it, but he didn't get it, if that makes sense. And he just went back and repeated it because he was like 2 years ahead. With her, she's not as far ahead, so I probably wouldn't repeat the whole year, but I would just go through and slow down if we need to, because it does get heavy after the halfway mark. Language arts and literature from The Good and the Beautiful. She loves this. She's loved this for the last 2 or 3 years. Both of my kids really enjoy their language arts. It's quick, it's easy, it's to the point, it's open and go. There's a little bit that you have to do with them at the very beginning, and then after that, they take off on their own. There's really good books with it. So she read these 2 so far. Chico of the Andes, I think, came first. She enjoyed that. Don't know what's hanging off of it. It was under her desk. And she finished Marjorie. She's in the next one right now. I can't think of the name of it, but she really enjoyed both these books. I asked her what her favorite was. She said probably Marjorie, but she really liked them both. She didn't dislike either of them. So this is going well. We're just going to keep going with it. That's pretty much a review of what she did. I'm going to do a whole nother video on their books that they read, because they read a lot of books. They're assigned a book about every 2 weeks that they go through, but that would be too much. This video would get really long if I tried to do all of this in the books. So we're going to jump over to my son, who is technically seventh grade. Same thing. His is a mix mash of different grade level things because we just do what works. So for math, he is doing Saxon Algebra 1. You can see this is not my daughter's path. This is his path. They both do their own thing. Yes, I would love to have one math that I can hand down from kid to kid, but what works for him does not work for her. And what would work for her would not work for him. So we do separate maths. This has been tough. It's not as tough, I think, had we not done 8-7 last year. So Saxon kind of has two paths. You can do 8-7, one half, and then one if need be, or you can skip 8-7, do one half, and then do one, or you can just do 8-7 and then do one. We did 8-7, which has more kind of review of all of those elementary things. 8-7 was really tough. 8-7 I feel like was tougher than this because it went over everything. And it pulled from some really old brain cells to remember everything. But I feel like it's made the transition to this easier. So he's done really well with this, all A's. For him, we are keeping grades this year for the first time, mostly because I want to get myself in the habit. As he gets to high school, obviously we'll need a transcript, and I need to get in the habit of putting down grades for him. Uh, we don't always grade on the first thing with math. We grade, and then he has a chance to go back and redo problems for a half credit. Because this is a learning situation. Like, I want him to learn the correct way to do it, not just count it wrong. So that's why we do it this way. And overall, his grades have been really good. His test grades have been really good. I'm happy with it. We do with that Nicole, the math lady. Without her, Saxon would not be possible for us. We tried doing it without her for a little bit, and it was way too much for me to sit and teach him, then sit and teach my daughter back and forth and all the things. And I didn't have as clear of a way of explaining things as she does. I can do the problem, but I wasn't explaining it as well. So we love her videos. I actually just renewed his stuff with her today. For the Algebra one, it was $80 for the whole year. I mean, that's a great deal. And the videos are in depth, they're explanatory, they're fun. He likes them. Everybody's happy. Nicole, the math lady, love her. Okay, science. He's doing BJU physical science. This has been a lot. This is the first high school level science. Technically, this can be an 8th grade or a high school, but he is doing this in 7th grade because he loves science and has always done well with science. He did their middle grade stuff before, like last year. But this one has been a lot. It is a lot of math. It is a lot of hands-on. It is a lot of experiments. The first half, especially, they went in first with the chemistry side of physical science. So if you're not familiar with physical science, it kind of is an introductory course to chemistry and an introductory course to physics. And theirs is kind of split right down the middle. You have the first book, the first teacher's edition part is over the chemistry half, the second half is over the physical science half. So the very beginning was all chemistry stuff. So it was, all of the atoms and the bits and the pieces, but then it was like balancing chemical equations and understanding all of the different uh, signs and all of these things. And it is not something that I have done in a very long time. I did find this to be a lot to teach to him. I had to do a lot of nighttime reading before and teaching myself and all of these things. Now, this week, so we're actually in the month of December, we started back to school again since the end of our semester. This week, we have started on more of the physical science part of this, and it has been a lot nicer. Now, this is the very beginning. There's still formulas, there's still math, but they're common sense formulas, if that makes sense. I am much more comfortable with the physical science part of things than I am the chemistry side of things, so we will see how this goes. He has enjoyed it. But even he has said it's been a lot. We had a couple other things that we were going to sprinkle in his year as far as like elective stuff and things like that. We're not doing that because this takes up a lot more of his day than we had thought it would. He normally does this in the afternoon after lunch, and it's probably, I would say, a solid 45 minutes, not including the hands on stuff. We do the hands on stuff in the evenings when we have time, stuff like that. Usually his dad jumps in and helps with it. Um, Also, the chemistry hands on, the experiments required a lot. So we ended up purchasing the kit used from somebody who we bought the books from. But what I didn't realize what was that they were not new to her. So some of the chemicals and things in there had a 12-month, like, after a certain amount of time they become no good. They either harden or they wouldn't produce the colors that they were supposed to or things like that. So that's just something to be aware of that I didn't even consider, is that some of these chemicals have a shelf life. Going back, if I was going to buy the kit, I would have just bought it new. Now, new, I do think it's like $300. So that would be a tough buy. But I bought it off of her, I think $100 or less. And all of the big parts and pieces, the different flasks and the thermometers and the things like this, that's all great. But the chemistry part of it, those chemicals do go bad. So I could go back and repurchase some of the chemicals, and I did that, and I sourced them different ways and stuff like that. But that's just, like I said, something to be aware of. For history, we do history together. We have jumped around a little bit this year. I don't know that we ever really truly found a good footing. I used a textbook that I showed y'all for a base in the very beginning. Didn't love it, dropped it. Then I used living books. It was okay. We watched quite a few videos. The video part was really good. But was it thorough? It was okay for my daughter who's in fourth grade. She's got a basic understanding of American history, and that's really all I need her to have. The big things that are happening. As we come back after this semester, after Christmas, we don't do history in December because we're doing half days. After Christmas, we will do something else. I am searching and figuring out exactly what we're going to do because we're going to do Civil War through basically the Great Depression. I don't go in depth into world wars for American history. I say that for world history. And I also do that not necessarily for her age group, a little bit older. But on top of that, my son has been reading America the Beautiful from Notgrass History, which is their middle school American history. Holly comes to say hi. Y'all haven't seen her in a minute. She's still here, still doing the thing, still interrupting every video. Got it. But he goes and reads a chapter of this that coincides with whatever we're learning. He's really enjoyed this. He's found it quick to read through a chapter. I mean, maybe takes him, I don't know, 10 minutes. Now, granted, he's a fast reader, but it doesn't take him long. Now, we are not doing any of the extras with this. We have not done any of the quizzes. We're not using the reviews. We're not doing all the other things. He takes notes as he reads a chapter. At the end of the week, him and I sit down and discuss notes. And that way I know if he has a thorough understanding. It has worked well because there have been times where I'm like, what about this? And he's like, what do you mean? What about that? What? I don't know. He skipped a page. Like he didn't read one of the pages and didn't realize it. So I know for sure if he is or isn't getting a thorough understanding of things based on his notes. Because I'm asking him for very thorough notes and to be able to explain the chapter back to me. Like I have the book open in front of me and I'm flipping through as he's talking and making sure that he's catching all the big chunks of the chapter. That has worked really well. That has made me feel like what we are doing in the morning, even though it's not as thorough as I'd like it to be, has been enough because of this. So I would call this a win for this year. We're going to continue with it through the end of the year. The last thing for him is language arts. So this year he is doing a little bit of, or not a little bit, he's doing half of high school level 1 from The Good and the Beautiful. If you're familiar with The Good and the Beautiful, they have, like my daughter has for grade 5, they have 5, 6, 7. 8th grade is a book study. Now, he had done 5. We chose not to do 6, 7 because they're older versions. Last year, I had him do the book studies. Looking at 6, 7, and looking at high school 1, I just went ahead and moved him to high school 1. After getting everything, would I have done that? Maybe not. I may have had him go back and do 7. But he's done well with it. It's not that it's been overly hard or any of that. It's almost that it's not quite enough. Um, he's enjoying it, but it's more kind of a light overview, I would think. Now, we are splitting this into 2 years. So this is high school 1. There's 10 units. We're doing 5 units this year. He's spending 3 weeks each on a unit. At first, I had it scheduled for 2. It did wind up being more than I at first thought it was once I first grabbed the booklets, because I was like, oh my gosh, this is not going to be much. So I had it scheduled for 2 weeks. Got into the first unit, realized there's more to it than that. There's videos that they need to go online and watch. There's a writing assignment for each one. There's some different things that they have to do for each one that did make it to where we didn't do it in 3 weeks. Now, caveat to that, he only does language arts 3 days a week. Tuesdays we have a short day because we leave and go to an activity. So he does not do language arts that day. He does math and science because we have to leave before lunch. So 3 days a week for 3 weeks, he's doing these. He's enjoyed them okay. They're fine. It's different, like different. It's a workbook, right? It's different. It's got grammar. It's got sentence diagramming. It's got a little bit of geography in it, and a little bit. Now this one covered like Asher Brown Durand, and so it's got an author study. Or is he a poet? No, he's not a poet. What is he? He's a painter. Oh, see, maybe my son's smarter than I am. He's a painter, but so there's a art study in here. But I almost feel like they're trying to cover too many things at once too fast in these. And so you're just getting teeny tiny snippets. So now, that said, he reads a ton of books for school, like I said, that I'll get into, not in my face, that he does book studies on, we do discussions on, things like that. So he's getting plenty of language arts experience. It's just, this has been a little lighter than I planned. Now, on the off weeks, we've been doing writing assignments. So for the first 3 weeks, he did work on a fantasy short story. He did a character study. He did a map. He did some like free writing, getting going on his story. The second one I canceled because that's the one when everybody was sick. He was going to continue with this fantasy story and finish that up, but he did not because, like I said, everybody was sick and we were struggling to just get through the main parts of our schooling. So I canceled that one. Now he's starting again on his fantasy story. So he'll do his short story before Christmas, have that turned in. He's going to have 2 more, I think, is the way I have it scheduled, because it would be 3, 6, 9. He either has 1 more section of writing or 2 more sections of writing. And I'm just going to have him do something, maybe a persuasive paper or something like that. So he's doing writing assignments within the unit. He's doing writing assignments outside of the unit. Overall, he's getting a good understanding. Has it been quite as thorough as I would have wished it was? Okay, not wished it was. This is great for junior high. This is fine for what we're doing. Were this for high school, do I think that it would prepare him for college writing? No. So we're going to do Unit 1 this year, the first half for 7th grade. We'll do the second half for 8th grade next year, because for junior high, it's just fine. But when he gets to high school for freshman and junior year, I think I'm going to find something else that's a little heavier on that college writing preparation, because at this point, that's the direction he's headed. If your kids are not headed necessarily in that direction, like him at this point, wants to be some sort of scientist, you need to know how to put your thoughts into words. You need to know how to prepare papers and be able to get your findings and everything else out into paper form. Do they teach you that in college? Somewhat, yes. Do they require that of you? Yes. But do I want him to go in with a little bit better of a writing situation? Yes. So, but I have a year or so to figure that out. Other than that, I would love to hear how y'all's homeschools are doing. I would love to hear, your semester update. Do you break your school into semesters? How do you do it? All of those things. So please leave me a comment down below. Let me know how it's going because I love to hear how other people's experiences are going, not just ours. And we will see y'all on the next one. And until the next time, y'all go read a lot. Thanks.